this video, we're going to create a simple dashboard in Google Sheets that is controlled by DropBox selection criteria. So you can see here, this is a preview of what we're going to build today. I have a dashboard here. In this top left section, we have a query output that reflects the top 10 year-to-date sales by branch location. This pulls from a data set on a different tab. It is this first tab called Dataset, and you can see here we have branch location number. Column B has city, state, where it's located. We have year-to-date sales and year-to-date expenses, and finally the number of employees at each branch. So to the right of our top 10 query results in this first section, we have a combo chart here where the year-to-date sales are represented by these vertical blue bars and year-to-date expenses are represented by the red line going through the middle. In the lower section of our dashboard, we have a second query down here that pulls the top 10 sales values per employee at each branch. So it's just a query of year-to-date sales by branch divided by the number of employees for each branch, just to see how efficient each branch is. And to the right, we have a chart that represents this second query, which is sales per employee, and it's just a simple horizontal bar chart. And in the middle here, in this yellow box, you can see we have a DropBox list. Currently, it's selected to top 10 sales by branch. If I wanted to see the bottom 10, all I would need to do is select that, and you can see our whole dashboard adjust automatically. So we'll get started here on a new tab. I'll just call this new tab Results 2. And up top here, the first thing we're going to do is recreate that query to pull back the top 10 sales by branch. So the first input is the data we want to query off of. That is back on our Dataset tab. I'm going to click it in A1, hit Control-Shift right arrow, and then Control-Shift down arrow. Now, if you want to make this range infinite, we can take the end of this range out and just leave the column letter if you think you're going to add more data to your data set. So I'm going to hit F4 to lock that down. Our next input is our query select statement. So if you remember on our dashboard, that first section just had the branch number, city, state, year-to-date sales, and year-to-date expenses. So we want A, B, C, D, and that's it. We want to pull back the top 10 sales figures. So we want to first order by column C, and since we want the top 10, we want to order from greatest to least. So we need to specify descending, because by default the Google Sheets query sorts or orders columns by ascending, which is smallest to greatest, which is the opposite of what we want here. Now, in addition, we need to limit our results to 10, so that since it's ordered by column C in descending order from greatest to smallest, we want to pull back just the first 10. So that would give us the top 10 values. So the final input of our query statement is the number of row headers we have in our data set. That is 1. Hit enter, and you can see we get our top 10 year-to-date sales by branch. So now the second thing I want to do is add that Dropbox so we can build our dashboard around that. So I'm just going to add a label here for it. call it category, and in the cell below it, I'm going to go up to data and then data validation. We're going to select the second option here, list of items, and I'm just going to manually type in 2 different options here for our list. Top 10 sales, and these values need to be separated by commas, and bottom 10 sales. So hit save, and now we have our Dropbox. So now what we want to do is link our query results to this Dropbox so that it changes based on whatever we have selected here. So I'm going to insert an if statement in front of our query, and reference that is cell D15. So if D15 equals top 10 sales, then we want the current query to be reflected. Now, for some reason, I found that this works better by nesting 2 if statements together with your 2 different query results. I don't know why that is, but the plural ifs did not seem to like it so much. So I'm just going to copy all of this, paste it, and change the criteria here in the second one to bottom 10. And in this one, we want to take out the descending and make it ascending, which is the default value, so we don't need to specify that. But we do need to tell the query not to include blank cells because we made our column range infinite. It goes all the way down to column E. So we need to specify in our where clause where C is not null. And so currently I have top 10 sales selected. So now I change this to the bottom 10, and you can see our query updates automatically. So it is linked to this Dropbox here. So now what we want to do is add a second query down here that reflects sales per employee. So I'm going to hit F2. I'm going to copy this query here and just modify it. I'm going to begin with an equals, paste this in, and what we want now is A and B, but now we want C divided by E. We want C, the sales value, to be divided by the number of employees in column E. So I need to change everything here. And also add a label clause because we added a calculated field. We added a calculated field of column C divided by E. And since we did that, we need to insert a label clause to give it a header name. So we'll just call this sales per employee, if I can type today. So I'm going to copy this and do the same thing for our second query. So now we have sales per employee, and I just want to format this here, and and you can see it's currently on the bottom 10, and if I change it to top 10, it adjusts just like the first query does. So now what we want to do is insert some charts to the right. So really I just want this city state to be reflected in our chart. So what we're going to do is select the data we want to be in the chart, go to insert and then chart. And Google Sheets automatically selects a suggested chart. Now this is actually what we want. The combo chart would be ideal here because we have a column for sales and one for expenses, and I think this reflects it as a picture very well. We do need to modify things like, you can see the values here, you can't see them, they're just, I think, too big, so we need to click in this area, and then down here it takes us automatically to the vertical axis section. And I think down here in the last little drop box there's a number format, and I want currency rounded, so now that looks better. I think what we'll also do is go back up top to the chart style and change the background color, and I want to change these vertical bars to something darker, so I can click on any one of those vertical bars and then select the color here to a navy. And finally I want to change this title font to black, so that looks good. Minimize this just a little, and what we want to do the same thing for this second set of data. I'm going to click in the section that I want to be in the chart. I'm going to go to insert and then chart again, and this time, well, it looks like it gave us what we wanted as well. We have a horizontal bar chart. So if you do want to change it, you can change it up here in this top section under setup, but that looks fine, so we'll go with that. Now we do want to change the style again, so I'm going to change it background color to a dark navy and change our title font to white, and do the same thing for our labels here. I don't think we really need these label headers. I might keep it for this sales per employee though. So I'll drag this down some more here. And the last thing I want to do is maybe just add like a header that is linked to our Dropbox again. So what we'll do here is merge all these cells. So if you didn't see me do that, you can just highlight this range of cells here and click merge horizontally, and then I'm going to link it to our Dropbox here, and maybe change the font a little to make it a little bigger. You might have to move your chart down because of that though. I'm going to change the fill to a dark navy and change the font to a lighter blue. Maybe we'll make that a little bigger there. And maybe format some of these cells here. And do the same thing down here. I'm just going to copy the formatting and and format this Dropbox section yellow so that that stands out, and I might merge these cells here. And just link this and maybe add some text on the end, so I'll use the and symbol to concatenate it to top 10 and sales per employee. See, now we have everything linked to our Dropbox, including our headers here. So that is just a simple dashboard in Google Sheets. Hey, if you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.